everyone, welcome to Make Moments Matter, a music education podcast, where I share lesson ideas, songs, games, and inspiring things for your elementary music classroom. My name is David Rao, and I am the music teacher who blogs at makemomentsmatter.org. This episode of the podcast is a replay containing the audio version of a Musical Mondays live video. If you're not familiar with Musical Mondays, every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I go live on Facebook and Instagram to share about the lessons that I'm using in class with my students. I give a recap of my kindergarten through 5th grade lessons, and then do a deep dive about one grade level and share the books, instruments, songs, and process that I use to teach the lesson to kids. This podcast episode contains all the audio from the Musical Mondays video, but if you'd like to see a replay of the video itself, you can find a link to the archived video on YouTube when you click the link in the notes for this episode. Thanks so much for tuning in. Here's the show. Hey everyone, my name is David Rao, and I'm the music teacher who blogs at makemomentsmatter.org. You can also find my ideas on Instagram, on Facebook, on Pinterest, and a variety of places when you search my name, David Rao, or Make Moments Matter. Today I'm going to be talking about lullabies and a couple books that I use to teach lullabies and how I use them and sort of how I adapt some things and some extras that can go in if you're planning on teaching that. I'll get to that in just a second. Facebook, if you can hear me, please leave me a message letting me know. Hold on, let me just type. Facebook, can you hear me? My computer has been real weird these last couple weeks, so just checking, might as well see. And if they can't, I'll have to make a quick little change. Anyway, a couple quick things, housekeeping things. If you're interested in any of the books, resources, anything I talk about in these videos, you can click the link at the bottom wherever you're watching or listening to this and go straight to that links page that has all of those details in one place, or you can go to makemomentsmatter.org and click the video tab and find the recap page for this year, 2024-2025. I think that's most of the stuff. Coming up, I was just this last weekend in northern Wisconsin, in Stevens Point, for the North Central Wisconsin ORF chapter workshop. It was so much fun. We had a great time talking about like basics of worship work and how you can use some of those things in your classroom no matter how much training you have. And in a couple weeks, I'm going to be in Winnipeg for the Manitoba Music Educators Association Conference and the Manitoba ORF Chapter Workshop. So if you are in or around Winnipeg on October 25th, 26th, come and join us for MMEA and the MOC workshop. I hope you'll come and join us. Or if you're like, hey, I really want some more training and I don't think I can make it to Winnipeg, which, okay, fair. I recently started a Patreon page where you can get lots of content on demand. You can chat with other people. You can download resources. There are a bunch of cool free things. I'm adding stuff every week. So come and check that out. There's some stuff that you can't find, some resources that I don't have on TPT, and some videos I've never shared before on Patreon. And if you want, there's like a 7-day free trial where you can be like, I'm not sure, I want to check it out. So go in and look up those options. There's a link on the links page if you want to check it out. Okay, no one on Facebook has responded to tell me they can hear me. So I'm hoping they can hear me. I'm going to put in the chat again. Hey, Facebook, can you hear me? I don't know. We'll see. I hope so. If not, there's still people on. Maybe they're just like seeing my face and they're reading lips. I don't know, doing the captions. Anyway, I'm going to jump into lullaby content, the books that I use, and talk about why I use those books for lullabies, and then how I adapt and change them a little bit. If you're like, hey, but David, it's October. Why aren't you talking about like Halloween stuff? Well, this is like year 6 for these Musical Mondays videos. And so I've talked about a lot of Halloween content over the years. So if you want to go back to October Musical Mondays videos and see some of that Halloween content, there's a lot of stuff. But these books are a little new and I'm using them in kind of a different way. And so I wanted to talk about how I'm using them and just give you some ideas. Because sometimes it's nice to have content for any time of year. And think about how you're going to integrate that, like no matter what other things you're doing. So it's kind of nice to have some of that stuff. So that's what I'm going to talk about that today. Anything else we need to talk about? No. Okay. Oh, and these books have some extra cool content that I'm going to talk about that goes with them in case you want some extra cool, fun freebies. So the first book is called The Nuts, Bedtime at the Nut House. This is a book by Eric Litwin, the same person who wrote Groovy Joe. There are a couple of Groovy Joe books. He also wrote the original Pete the Cat books. He also wrote, there's something else I can't remember, that is attributed to Eric Litwin, but he's most well known for Pete the Cat. I love using another Nuts family book, one called Sing and Dance in Your Polka Dot Pants, but this one has become a favorite as well. And so this is called The Nuts, Bedtime at the Nut House. And let me just share a little bit of this story. Okay, and I'm going to go, because, like I said at the beginning of this video, because I've had some trouble with Facebook audio in the last couple weeks, I'm not going to do the like thing where I try and switch videos today, because making technology changes doesn't always work for me, and recently has not. So I'm just going to like do the old school thing where I hold up the book and read it. Even though I know how to do the other cooler stuff, I just don't think my computer can handle it right now. Okay, so this is the first part of the book. It was time for bed. The day was done. But Hazel and Wally were still up having fun, and they sang together. We're nuts, we're nuts, we're nuts, we're nuts. So Big Mama Nut in her big voice said, in her mama voice said, all little nuts need to go up to bed. Also, I love that Hazel and Wally have a ball pit in their house. I'm a little jealous about that. Sweet Hazelnut would not go to her room. She wiggled and giggled. She howled at the moon. Ho! Okay, obviously, anytime I do, this is going to happen again, because Eric is a great writer for emerging readers, and so he always puts in patterns in his book, things that kids can expect to come back again. So when giggles happen again, kids are going to want to giggle. When the howling happens again, kids are going to want to howl. Then Hazel and Wally kept singing their tune. We're nuts, we're nuts, we're nuts, we're nuts. So Big Mama Nut in her big voice said, all little nuts need to go up to bed. Wally Nut danced like a baby baboon. He wiggled and giggled. He howled at the moon. Hee 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 hee. And then howl. Okay, and I don't know if you guys can see this, but Wally shows his nut butt. He like moons the camera. I'm not really a camera illustrator, which is like, what? So ridiculous. But kids are like, it's hilarious. Then Hazel and Wally kept singing their tune. We're nuts, we're nuts, we're nuts, we're nuts. So Big Mama Nut in her bigger voice said, all little nuts need to go up to bed. Did Hazel stop singing? Figure not, figure not, figure not. No. Did Wally stop playing? Cha, 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 cha. No. They had not heard a word that their mama was saying. They bounced up and down like two happy balloons. They wiggled and giggled. They howled at the moon. Okay, obviously kids are going to want to do that again. Then Hazel and Wally kept singing their tune. We're nuts, we're nuts, we're nuts, we're nuts. So Big Mama Nut in her biggest voice said, all little nuts need to go up to bed. Those nuts did not budge. Mama gave them the look. And this is when I love to talk with kids about the look. I'm like, have you ever seen the look from your parent or your teacher? Where they just like look at you and you know, like, I'm not going to mess with that. And I said, okay, show me your version of the look. Okay, that is hilarious. When I have first graders trying to like scowl at me like they mean business. Doesn't mean anything. She put down her foot. Her long fingers shook. She marched them to bed. She tucked them in tight. Then just before Mama, oh, sorry, that didn't rhyme. The nuts did not budge. Mama gave them the look. She put down her foot. Her long fingers shook. Okay, that rhymes. There we go. She marched, if I hadn't interrupted myself you would have heard that rhyme, sorry. She marched them to bed, she tucked them in tight, and just before Mama Nut turned off the light, Hazel asked, "Are we still your sweet little nuts?" So Big Mama Nut said, "No matter what, you will always be my sweet little nuts." And that nutty family sang together. We're nuts, we're nuts, we're nuts, we're nuts. All little nuts need to go up to bed. Okay, I added the all little nuts need to go up to bed, but it'd be weird if I didn't add that part. And all was calm and nutty and right. So Mama Nut turned off the light. Good night, little nuts. Good night. And then at the end, you have an extra bonus lullaby. Good night, little nut. Good night. Good night, little nut. Good night. I love you the way you are. You're my nutty shining star. Good night, little nut. Good night. The end. Okay, and then at the end, the squirrel, which I think is kind of surprising, is like Hazel and Wally's friend, because don't squirrels like try to like eat acorns and walnuts and things, but whatever. The squirrel reminds us, download the free song and lullaby and have a nutty sing-along at thenutfamily.com. So if you have this book, there's actually a free download. Eric Litwin, because he was a teacher, a third grade teacher, and because he knows that teachers like need more help and resources and support, he recorded himself reading the book. So if you want a version of the author reading the book, you can get it at thenutfamily.com, which I think is just like a redirect to ericlitwin.com. And you can download that. So if you have like a sub day, or you're out sick, or you're in school sick and you've lost your voice, you can have the author reading the book. You can have a copy of that downloaded and available to use with this book, which I think is kind of cool. Also, there's like a recording of him with a guitar and like a group of kids doing this book. So when they get to the singing part, they actually do it. Okay, I have a couple gripes with this book. Most of it I love. A couple little gripes. The first one is, if you use that recording I just talked about, instead of them singing their song, the kids in the recording shout. And I don't love that, because we just spent like all this time talking about the difference between singing voice and shouting voice. And they're like, we're not. Okay, so I don't use that recording with kids very often, but I know it's there. But I don't love that part. Okay, the other thing I don't love is that Mama Nut has music notes next to her word. But it says Big Mama Nut in her mama voice said. Normally, I would just change that to, so Big Mama Nut in her mama voice sang. But then it wouldn't rhyme. All little nuts need to go up to bed. What's going to rhyme with sang? All little nuts need to push back their bangs. I don't know. So it doesn't work. So it has to be said, or you need to get creative here and change that somehow. But kids don't really worry about that. It's just that I read it with every class. So like every time I do it, and you have to say that like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 times in the book. So like every time I do it, I'm like, it's actually sang. She didn't like say it. She actually sang. Anyway, but things I love about this. Those are the 2 things that I'm like, kind of annoying. But things I love about this book. 1, kids can relate to this, not wanting to go to bed. Kids can also relate to being told to do something and not doing it, and then being told again with a slightly louder voice and not doing it, and then being told again, and then the adult or whoever, the grown-up, is like, I mean it, and then finally getting the look and then having it. Kids get that. They understand that. So because they know that, this story makes sense to them. So what I do is I talk about how like every time Mama Nut sings, what happens to her voice? Well, she gets a little bit louder, right? So she sings just a little bit more. It changes her tone. It changes how she do it. It changes the way she looks. And so we talk about how like as you sing something, if you sing it a little louder, can it change the meaning of the song? If you sing it more gently or slower, can it change the meaning of a song? And that's how we get to the part where at the end of the song, when they're going, we're nuts, we're nuts, we're nuts, we're nuts, like being all crazy. At the end, when they sing it as a lullaby, you can do that because you can take any song and you can sing it as a lullaby if you just slow it down, make it calm, and change the way you sing. So I kind of love that about the song. Also, this is perfect because early on in first grade, I use this in first grade. Early on in first grade, I do Little Bunny Foo Foo, and that's another story where like the bunny is told not to do something and he keeps doing it, and he's told not to and he keeps doing it, and like the way the good fairy responds changes with it. So like the first time is little bunny foo foo, I don't want to see you, and the next time she's like little bunny foo foo, I don't want to see you, and the next minute does it little bunny foo foo, I don't want to see. Her tone changes with every retelling, right? With every new verse, and this is very similar to that. So kids like see that connection. They also know the Nut Family because I use Sing and Dance in Your Polka Dot Pants early on in the school year with first grade. So this is like a fun book because it's like a callback to a story they know, characters they know, and it just makes sense to them. So this is really fun. And there's that like extra lullaby at the end, which is also a free download on Eric's website. So there's a lot packed into this book if you want to unpack it. There are a lot of cool things you can do with it. I put a link to that on the links page. You can find used copies all over. This one is a used copy. The book was printed in, I don't know. I can't find the copyright. Hold on, 2014. So it's been out 10 years. You're going to be able to easily find used copies if you want. So this is one book that I use talking about lullaby. It's actually the first one that I use talking about lullaby. Usually this comes up for me in like September sometime, but you can use it any time of year. I don't think that it's contingent on a certain time of year, but it's something you can use anytime. So then another book that I use when talking about lullaby, and this is one that comes out for Latinx and Hispanic Heritage Month, is this book Salsa Lullaby. This is by Jen Arena and Erica Mesa. And this one doesn't have a recording. It doesn't have like given sheet music or anything. The Eric Litwin book does not have sheet music or anything that goes with it. I just listen to the recording and can sing the song now. But I think you could sing that however you want, either book, because there's not like a given like song or melody or anything like that. But Salsa Lullaby, let me go through that and share what's in this book. So with kids, we've already talked about what is a lullaby. It's a song that's like a gentle, easy song, usually something you use to put someone to sleep, most often kids, but it could be anyone really. And so it's like a going to bed song. Okay, Mommy starts a salsa song. Poppy keeps the beat. Baby loves this lullaby, moves those dancing feet. Baila, baby, baila, dance, dance, dance. Baila, baby, baila, dance, dance, dance. A lot of times with the books that we use for Hispanic Heritage Month, there are words in Spanish. And I always say, I bet if you listen, you'll be able to figure out what those words mean. Even if you don't speak Spanish, I bet you could figure out what they mean just based on the context of the book or the pictures you see. See if you can figure out what those words mean. So the first time I did this one last week, the class was like, I think Baila is the name of the baby. And I was like, it could be. Listen again. Baila, baby, baila, dance, dance, dance. And then I had them look. And then one kid was like, oh, wait, maybe Baila means dance because they're dancing. I was like, ooh, I think maybe that's what it means. I mean, I know that's what it means. But anyway, it's fun to let kids sort of sort through that instead of saying, okay, everyone, Baila means dance. Now, here I go. But to like let them sort of come to that conclusion on their own and hear it and make that connection. Mommy glides across the floor. Poppy sets the pace. Baby sings la la la, makes a silly face. Canta, baby, canta, sing, sing, sing. Canta, baby, canta, sing, sing, sing. Okay, now missed opportunity that I have sometimes done with my classes. Baby sings la la la. La la la. I could actually sing it on la because the way I'm singing the song is so la, so mi. So if I really wanted to, I could do la la la, but the kids do not make that connection. That is just something that is for me to know that I am singing la on la. But anyway, you could do that if you wanted. So the other thing here is I talk about illustrations and I talk about how you can see these lines coming out of the dog's mouth and the baby's mouth. And the lines don't mean that like actual light is shooting out of the dog's mouth or the baby's mouth. That's the illustrator showing you that sound is coming out. And most kids know that or can intuit that, but like drawing attention to this thing that's happening in the illustrations is kind of fun because then the kids look for that in the future with books that you share. Mommy lifts her arms up high. Poppy spins and twists. Baby bounces happily, waves those little fists. Salta, baby, salta, jump, jump, jump. Salta, baby, salta, jump, jump, jump. Mommy sways more slowly now. Poppy dims the light. Baby watches sleepily. Soon it will be night. Mira, baby, mira, look, look, look. Mira, baby, mira, look, look, look. Mommy cuddles baby close. Poppy's voice gets deep. A slow salsa lullaby. Baby falls asleep. Duerme, baby, duerme. Sleep, sleep, sleep. Duerme, baby, duerme. Sleep, sleep, sleep. Buenas noches, good night. Yeah, I usually speak that one, but you could sing it too if you want. And at the end is a glossary that tells you like baila, canta, salta, mira, duerme, and buenas noches, what they mean. But again, we go through and we talk about that and get that in context as we're singing. So another fun book that you can use if you're going to teach lullaby. The cool thing that happens in this book, if you read it the way I just shared it, as you're going through the book, at certain points towards the end of the book, you can slow down your pace. You can sing just a little bit quieter, and then that helps kids see that like any song can be a lullaby. It doesn't have to be talking about sleeping. Any song can be a lullaby if you slow it down and you can maybe get a little quiet. The way you sing it, that is really important too. So this is a fun book where it's really, really easy to take what's in the book and just alter it a little bit so that kids can see the song as a lullaby. But I love it because it uses Spanish language in there. It shows like a happy family. It shows kids getting ready for bed. There are really fun illustrations. So like beautiful, bright illustrations. I love that about this book. So it's another way to reinforce this idea of lullaby and sleeping. And then we can go through and do like any song and talk about how like you can sing it as if it's a lullaby. So then we take a song that we did that day, whatever song we might have done, like Old King Glory on the Mountain or whatever, and we sing it as if it were a lullaby. What would we have to do to the song to make it more like a lullaby? Just sing it quieter, maybe slower, just things like that. And then it's also fun to have a conversation where I say, like, do your parents sing to you? Do they sing with you? Do they sing at nighttime? Like, does anybody have that happen? And so it's just fun to have that conversation or to talk about what is music like at home. Like, do you sing with your parents? You can. Why not? Or teach them a song. Teach them one of the songs we've done. So to like encourage them to make music with their parents at home. Anyway, both these books are really fun books. There are many more cool books out there, but I like both of these because they both can involve a lullaby, but they're not like, it's not a book. Well, it's not like a song that has been turned into a book. It's not like lullaby and good night, go to sleep, na, na, na. It's not that they took the words of a song and illustrated it, but it's just books that include lullabies in them or help to teach a lullaby without actually just like being like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star or something like that. So it's fun that they are actual stories that include that. And Salsa Lullaby would be great for Hispanic Heritage Month or any time of year, honestly. And the Nuts Bedtime at the Nut House is great, especially if you like to do Eric Littman's other books like Sing and Dance in Your Polka Dot Pants or The Nuts Keep Rollin'. There are a lot of other cool books you could do. So if you're interested in these, check them out. I put them on the links page or send me a message. I can send you information about them too. But I hope this gives you some more content that you can use when you're teaching lullabies. As I said at the beginning, if you're like, David, where's the October content? Y'all, this is like year 6 of doing these Musical Mondays. So there are many, many more videos in the archive. If you want to go back and find them, they're there on makemomentsmatter.org on the video tab. You can just click any of the years and go through. And same for Thanksgiving content or holiday content or anything. There's lots in there if you're interested for you to check out. Okay, Facebook, I'm so glad that like the sound stayed on. Woohoo! Hopefully it will next week when I'll be back here for week 10 of Musical Mondays videos. I hope to see you next Monday night for another Musical Mondays video. Until then, have a great week and have fun with your kids. Bye, everyone.